guys, FinallyHeSleeps here. I wanted to throw a quick video together to talk about Team of the Season and the coming crash, what it means, and what we can expect. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share. Check out FinallyHeSleeps.com for even more from me on FIFA Mobile. That's where I post all of my insider stuff that's too important to wait on a video, market notes, and more. A big thank you goes out to all the newest team members at the site. A few shout outs real quick to some of those: Cameron, Graham, John, Liam, Percy, and Ray. Thanks for your support. Alright, team of the season. It's coming to an end really soon. FIFA Mobile is still showing 3 days until it's over. I was nervous that the resets would end today, on Friday, with the only way for players to complete their objectives would be through packs. Luckily, the resets are still live for the time being, so you still have a bit more time. They could end tomorrow, they could end Sunday, they could end Monday. We really don't know. Most of us have already collected who we planned on collecting at this point, but we're still using the resets and ultimate stars to gather boosts. Once this event ends, we won't know what to do when it goes back to the only place to get your boost is from opening versus packs. And that's just for a handful of random boosts at a time. Especially everyone who's committed fully to this legendary boost player hype. Great while the boosts were flowing, but soon that may not be the case. EA released some new packs, as promised. The first of which was a cash pack, $1 for 4 stars. I fancy myself free to play, but every once in a while, something comes along that's just too good to pass up. $1 for 4 stars, which directly converted to 1,250 rare boost. Hell yes. I'm currently trying to bump up dribbling, so this was one of those times that I'm breaking open the wallet. If you haven't been paying attention to the market, it's utterly out of control currently. First, EA introduced suggested prices, which crushed the low end of the thing. Silvers just died. Where we were buying silvers for 3,000 to 4,500 coins to turn over a profit a week ago, you could all of a sudden grab the same players for 300 to 500, 600 coins. Golds were so low you could buy them for the same or less than they were worth in XP, training them into someone else. So that's 1-to-1 XP for coins. Some areas are still like that if you're in need of XP. Another big problem with suggested pricing is I've heard a ton of horror stories where people put in their price, then add the player they want to sell, and don't realize that the suggested price button is selected, and then they click submit before they realize the price dropped dramatically. Depending on the player, it could drop it down millions. Literally, you need to pay attention. This morning, the silvers market started to bounce back in an unexpected way. Okay, many of us who frequent the silvers bought hundreds last Saturday when you could grab players for under 500 coins in the 65 to 69 range. Now, personally, my thought was eventually the market would bounce back. I was guessing, somewhere like August maybe, that those coins that I spent 500 a piece on would be worth 1,500 to 3,000, and it would clear a 6-time profit. Just for shits and giggles though, I checked some of the silvers I had picked up a few days ago just to see what their suggested selling price would be. Most of them didn't pop up at all, and a lot of them were 500, 900, 1,200, but some of them were well over 100,000 coins. So in 10 minutes, I listed and sold a few dozen players that I picked up for under 500 coins each and cleared a few million in profit. Market be crazy. Then I wondered about other areas. The golds, I had a few players that were bringing in 20 to 60,000, but nothing too exciting. When I went up to check out the elites I picked up last week for 60 to 90, some of them were 100, 105,000. For some reason, the European, the EUL players, the elites, were bringing in 150 to 250,000 coins this morning based on suggested prices. I bought hundreds of elites last weekend, and only a couple of dozen are selling right now. I don't think it's a marker that the market's on the rise. Instead, I just think it's a side effect of all the increased traffic this weekend. Okay, now that was this morning. By this afternoon, the market was swinging in the opposite direction as people started to secure their new team of the season master players, thanks to those packs in the market. In turn, they were selling their old. Plus, a ton of people are opening packs and spending their paychecks in the store, which means the market's getting flooded with new reserves, many of which are premium cards, and by premium I mean dynamic or animated cards. Because of that, other investment opportunities are presenting themselves. Then I started looking at some of the higher OVR and more rare reserves. I've been watching Sadio Mane's 95 rated team of the season left wing card since it was released. The day it showed up, the cheapest available was around 20 million. Now, I considered buying it because it's a card I actually want, but thought it should drop to around 15 million soon. I was wrong. A week went by and it just kept rising. Since that initial weekend, the cheapest I've seen it has been around 26 million until today. It started dropping like a rock when all of this market fluctuation came where everybody was panicking. I was able to pick one up for 20.6 million, and the gambler in me threw it right back onto the market for 22.6 just for that quick 2 million in profit. I'll buy them back after the crash. Why is the market so unpredictable this weekend? That's the question. It's because of the mass sell-off taking place. It's starting to throw things off kilter already. People are afraid the market is going to crash, so they're trying to sell their older players now before their prices start plummeting by midweek. The problem is, if you had players to sell, you should have done it last week, when the prices were still up at their max. Over the next few days, the market is going to slowly start to drop as people look for the quickest way to make coins because they hope to buy players as soon as they become available. Now is not the time to sell. If you haven't already sold, the best advice I can give you is to hold on to them as for long as you possibly can, at least until the market starts to recover. What is the market crash? Some players new to the game are lost when they hear everyone talking about the crash. No, the market isn't going to go down where you can't access it. It's not that kind of crash. Well, we hope not. I mean, it's EA. Hell, it could go down. I mean, that's what happened before while EA tried to fix a massive amount of traffic, or somebody hacked a card getting added like we saw last year when the Bale card was released. Now, what the crash is, it's a sell-off so large that the bot can't keep up the queue up with the lowest buy it now prices, as so many people try to post all of their players at a price lower than the lowest at the moment they list, in hopes of getting theirs to sell because they want the big coins. Usually they want to buy a different player. None of the cards sell. Everything times out and the prices just keep dropping as more and more people start to panic as they see their perceived profits get flushed down the toilet. People expect to be able to sell their players for like 30 to 50 million each and end up unloading them for 15 to 20 because they need those coins to buy someone else who's just as low. It's a clusterfuck of epic proportions. Eventually, though, the market will hit rock bottom when players finally decide to hold on to their cards rather than give them to the bot for peanuts. While all this is going on, all of the other players people have been holding on to start flooding the market too, as a means for quick coins to buy different team of the season cards. It's inevitable. It's insane. It's actually kind of glorious too, especially if you prepare for it and you're ready to invest heavily once it does hit rock bottom. If I was grabbing elites for 60k over last weekend, I'm hoping to be able to do the same or better next week. A lot of the UCL masters are going to be so cheap on the second, they'll practically be giving them away if you can catch that small window where it bottoms out. Team of the Year players will drop, especially if they're new Team of the Season version of the same player. You need to watch and search for cards you know are cheaper than they should be, and then invest heavily when you see them at their lowest. As for Team of the Season cards, the reserves have already bottomed out. I don't expect much from them. Now I'm talking about standard reserves, the stuff we've been packing and just getting constantly. What I do expect to see big coins flowing for are the tournament masters like that Hazard 95 rated left wing from the first week. Team of the Season starters that have a better ultimate version, those are going to be dropping drastically, and you're going to see people buying a lot of them. Those are investment cards. A big one that should be going pretty low is Robertson's 95 rated left back. A ton of people grabbed that card long before they realized the ultimate was achievable. People will be trying to sell both, and the lower the ultimate drops, the standard starter is going to drop twice as fast. Same with Bernardo Silva and Kimmich, because so many grab their ultimates. That means their standards are going to be worth nothing. It's going to be the same thing for the ultimate reserves too. All of these cards are going to drive the prices down on their standard starter versions. Now, a lot of the ultimate reserves are a lower OVR than the standard, which is a good thing because it's going to confuse the market. Look at Alisson. He's got a 97 starter and a 95 reserve. But if you go on to FIFA Renders and check their stats, the 95 reserve is a better card than the 97. Even though you're grabbing a 95 compared to a 97, add in the fact that it's ultimate, add in the fact that it's dynamic, the reserve ultimates are going to be worth more than the standard. If you're putting them in your own team, why would you buy a standard when you can get the ultimate? Making all of the cards auctionable is going to make this whole crash even worse too. If you're trying to make profit, then don't buy until you see the market start dropping and then bottom out. It could take a day or two before it fully hits that rock bottom point. Most people will list on a 4-hour cycle so they can relist to guarantee that they do sell, because their ultimate goal is they need the coins. That means by 12 to 16 hours in, cards will have been relisted 2 to 3 times, dropping every relisting. It could start to bottom out that quickly, or it could continue for days the way it did last year at this time. If you pay attention and buy cards at their bottom, you can make millions. You can make tens of millions or even hundreds of millions if you're willing to hold on to them until it recovers and you have the coins to invest heavily. There will be cards that do not recover. They won't recover. Last year, Harry Kane's Team of the Season striker card sucked. There were much better options. When it hit rock bottom, that price stuck. It took months for that card to turn a profit. Most people dumped him in a moment of desperation in need of coins somewhere along the way. This season, I'm expecting quite a few cards to take a very long time to show a profit. The wingbacks from Bundesliga, for example, those will drop to a crazy low. I'm expecting they'll be in the 1 to 2 million range rather quickly. Unless they get close to $1 million, they'll never ever recover to a profitable range. Not because a ton of people claim them and are trying to sell them, but because the cards you see in the market are bot creations. They're not actually cards people are listing. Remember, it's a bot market. If you're trying to sell your Team of the Season players, you have a couple of options. You can just list for the suggested price or even lower and then give the bot a reason to grab the card, take your coins, and be happy. One school of thought is if you earned it or packed it, when you sell it, all of the coins are profit, which makes sense. Second method is to wait. Just avoid the market altogether. Wait out the crash, watch for the recovery, and unload the card when it's back at a stable price, a week down the road, 2 weeks down the road, or even a month or more. That's the best way to optimize profit. What I prefer to do is gamble with a bot. If you've watched any of my event videos, you've probably seen me do this before. The moment cards become auctionable, I'll search the market to see the lowest buy now price, then list the card on a 24-hour cycle with a price that's so far below the lowest that the bot grabs mine first and resets the queue. For example, I have a standard Robertson left back, the 95 rated, that I want to sell. I expected his value to end up between 8 and 12 million coins before the Ultimate Robertson was released. I'm guessing his new value will bottom out between 4 and 8 million. This is pure speculation. I'm just basing this on the market trends and what else we're seeing in the market and where they're selling for. So if it bottoms out between 4 and 8 million with the ultimate fetching somewhere in the 15 to 25 million range, that's kind of where I'm seeing it go. If I get on at the very start of the auctionable window like in the first few minutes, and the lowest Robertson in the market is above 15 million, which it very well could be, because people are dumb and they're going to think they can get 20 to 30 million out of that card, I'll list mine on a 24-hour cycle with its buy now between 11 and 12. Okay, now that's only if the lowest is 15. It's a 3 million coin undercut. It would have to be in the first few minutes of them going live, because 20 minutes in, that price will already be down to like 11 to 12 from the 15. And the only way you're going to get yours to sell is to list him at like 10 at that point. 4 hours in, it'll be down to 8, so that 11 to 12 I grab in the first few minutes would feel like a win. If he doesn't sell after 24 hours, I'll just put him in my reserves and wait it out. I could have him in August. We'll see. That's how I'll handle the few players I'm wanting to unload. Every other player I've bought recently as an investment, I'll be holding on to until the foreseeable future. I have no expectations of making any money on these over the next week. If I haven't sold it before the 2nd, I'll probably still have it on the 22nd. Okay, I hope that explains the crash. I hope you're prepared, and you've got a serious bank of coins to invest in players on the 2nd and the room in your reserves. Me, I'll either have 30 million in coins and focus my attention on Team of the Season Masters and reserves, or I'll have a few million and focus all my attention on mid to high level elites getting sold off for quick coins. Either way, by the 4th of July, investors like myself will probably be dead broke with 1,150 players in the reserves dealing with that stupid ass pop-up that tells you that you've maxed out and you're going to get locked out. The market. She's a fickle bitch. Treat her well and she'll reward you in kind. Underestimate her wrath, though, and she'll leave you curled up in the fetal position, worried about whether or not she gave you HPV. As long as you keep watching, I'll keep making videos. Thanks for watching. Maybe check out one of these other videos next. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Visit my site, FinallyHeSleeps.com, for daily posts about FIFA Mobile and other various brain vomit. Plus, if you get really bored, you can find merchandise and my latest comedy album, Life Before the Internet, at the links below. Like, down at the bottom, those links.